Hey y'all, it's Robert, and today at the Sweet Unpack, I'm going to be making bingo. Okay, so I've already made Bluey, but I got so many requests to make bingo, but these two characters are pretty similar in design. It's pretty much just a color difference between the two and the markings on the back. So what I'm going to be doing for this one is actually modeling it off of a coin bank that I found. And in this coin bank, bingo is sitting down, so I thought this would be a great way to differentiate the two. So let's go ahead and jump into it. To start this all off, I'm going to be leveling and torting the cake layers and then adding some simple syrup. And I'm stacking this cake with vanilla buttercream, and then I'm going to add in some cake dowels for support because this cake is going to be pretty tall and I don't want it to collapse on itself. So the cake is all stacked up, but the sides are pretty uneven, so I'm using a serrated knife to even out the sides. Then I'm going to add a crumb coat just to catch all of those crumbs that I just made. Now it's time to add the final coat, and because this is a character cake, I'm going to be using chocolate ganache, and this is a 3-to-1 ratio of chocolate to cream, and I'm just going to mix it until it's really combined, and then I can add it to the cake. So the ganache is all set right now, but the top edges of this cake are pretty sharp. And usually this is something that you would want in a cake, but for this character, it doesn't really work and I have to soften it. So I'm using an acetate sheet to kind of smooth those edges out. The base of the cake is now done and I can start designing it. So I'm going to be using modeling chocolate for this, and I'm just going to cover the cake with the base first, and that way I can start building more on top of that. So I'm starting with the legs first, and this is just something that I'm eyeing. I'm looking at the coin bank and trying to match it up as perfectly as I can. So I'm just going to add that modeling chocolate and smooth it all out until I get it just right. Then I'm going to start working on the arms and doing the same thing, using different sculpting tools to really get everything to look just like the coin bank. Now it's time to work on the eyes and the nose, and I'm using modeling tools to kind of create that rough draft for where the eyes will be. But for the nose, I'm actually going to be making it out of Rice Krispie treats. I'm making the nose this way because it sticks so far off the cake that I need something that can hold its shape without being too heavy. So I have to really compact those Rice Krispie treats, and then I can stick it onto the cake and then cover it with modeling chocolate. So there's a few more things I need to do for the modeling, and that's to add the ears and also add the smile indentations. And then I'm also going to add the tail onto the back of the cake. So the cake is all modeled and I can now start adding color to it, and I am using edible paint to do this. But a tricky thing with this cake is that I'm going to be basing it off this coin bank, so I have to make sure that I color match exactly like this coin bank in order for these two things to look alike in the end. I had to do a lot of color mixing and really understanding color theory to get the right shades that I needed. And this did take me a while to do, but I did finally get it, and I can now start painting the cake. Although you can't really see it, I'm painting the eyes white because the modeling chocolate is a little off-white. Then I'm using a light yellow to paint the nose, the hands, and the feet. And I have 2 shades of orange that I'm using to color the rest of the cake. So I've painted everything that I need to on this cake. So the last details I'm making with modeling chocolate. So for the pupils, I'm using black modeling chocolate, and for the eyebrows, I'm using a light yellow. And because this cake is supposed to be matching the coin bank, I'm adding in a coin slot on the back to really bring everything together. The last thing I'm going to do is spray this edible glaze onto the cake because the coin bank does look glossy, and I think this will help these two things match up. So here we have it. This is the bingo cake complete. I'm really excited about how this cake turned out. I think it pretty much is a one-to-one of the coin bank, and I love the inclusion of the coin slot on the back. I think that was just a really nice touch. So I'm really happy about this one, and if you all like this cake, make sure that you like the video. If you have any other cake ideas that you would like to see me make, make sure you leave those in the comments below, and until then, I'll see y'all in the next video.